Here's a bit of a funny one. I'm really not sure what's going on here. With the ignition on and reverse selected, I get a picture on my reversing camera, which I know it's showing the loading area. It's not fully mounted in the door yet. That's what I'm going to do in a few minutes. But as soon as I start the ignition, so we go back. Goes blank. I wonder why. Okay, so I've gone into the settings. So I've gone into the settings for the rear camera. I've turned off simulated panorama. This is an atoto head unit. Let's see what happens when I start it. Yeah. Okay, still don't work. Here we go. Again, we got a signal. Just start it up. No signal. Okay, so I've changed reversing cameras. This is a cheap £10 one off of eBay. And you can see that the reversing camera's got a built-in light and that is lit up. So I'm happy that that's being powered. So what I'm going to try now is just try starting the engine again. Right, we've lost it, look. But it's still powered. So it's not a power issue, it's some kind of signal issue. That's weird, isn't it? Okay, so I've disconnected the CAN bus and I've run a wire all the way back to the back lights, and that's connected to the feed on here. So now, with the CAN bus disconnected, the radio did not know that it was in reverse with the ignition on, which we've got there. And it's still the same. So I finally got my finger in gear. Or should I say my arse in gear. I fitted the reversing camera. Decided to put it just here. Just there. Like that. The idea being that maybe if I'd have put it a bit more to the left. The only thing is, looking at it now, I think I've got it a bit skew with. I think it needs to be twisted that way a little bit. So I have to get a little screwdriver up there and adjust those screws and give it a bit more of a pivot. I'll be honest, fitting the reversing camera hasn't gone smoothly for a couple of reasons. Physically fitting it wasn't too bad, so it's simply a case of just removing this nut here, removing this nut here, removing this bolt here, and this one here. So with those four removed, this panel then the door mechanism will then slide away. You've got to disconnect a couple of the levers. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. When you're putting it back, just make sure that this lever is actually located. It slides into there, just pushes in. So make sure that that's fully located, because you can't remove that. And also, when you come to take off this bit here, this is actually bolted on with 4 bolts. So the location, bloody foil stuff. So the location of the bolts are, one is here, tucked away in there. One is just here, under this metal plate. One is just here under this metal plate, and one is around here under this metal plate. Once this is removed, you can actually see quite clearly all 4 of those bolts, and they're fairly straightforward to get out. We're using a spline socket. You can remove them. The problem I've got at the moment is got my live and neutral coming in there for the reversing camera. I've got my video feed going out and the power supply connection there. The problem I've got is because I've got LED rear lights, the power supply from the lights to the camera isn't good enough. So what happens is when the engine's running, the camera just sort of cuts out and flickers. So we think it's possibly a problem with the voltage oscillating when the engine's running. So I've had a quick look on YouTube, and that's basically what they've said, that the voltage is oscillating when the engine's running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a voltage regulator tomorrow. That's being delivered tomorrow, so we'll show you fitting that, and hopefully that will cure the problem with the front rear camera in the head unit. Because like I say, when the engine's not running, the rear camera works. As soon as you start the car up, it loses signal and the rear camera stops working, which is a bit annoying because you want the engine running when you're reversing. Okay, got a bit of an update for you. So I took a feed from the rear lights to the head unit as a signal feed, and that didn't work. I've fitted a filter on the rear camera, but that didn't work. The head unit still switched off. The head unit actually seemed to lose signal from the feed, so I've switched the head unit back to the CAN bus feed, and this happened. So there you go. Obviously got a few wavy lines in there, I think you can see them, but I'm going to live with that. I've now got a reversing rear camera when the engine's running, which I believe is a victory. Let me go and show you the little filter I fitted. There you go, here's the filter I spliced in. Obviously I've got push fit connections there. I've used a flat and a bayonet so that I can't mix the two wires up, because one's earth and one's live. So I've just put some extra connections onto this little unit here. It shows the direction of electrical travel, and that seems to, I'm just going to tuck this back in there out of the way for now. Tuck it back in there into this massive wire. I've got the AV lead is too long, that's why I've got that, so I need to sort of loop that up properly and sort of cable tie it up and tidy all this stuff up, make sure everything gets sort of tied back down and tidied up before I put this panel back on. But yeah, very pleased.